We are gathered today to put market research on trial. You, all of you in this room, will be the jury. In a moment, I'll be inviting a prosecution attorney, a defense attorney, and they will bring on a number of witnesses to be cross-examined. You can ask questions, and then we'll vote. In a moment, I'll explain how the voting works. Firstly, I'll tell you why. Last year, there was a series of presentations throughout the MRMW, and one of the conclusions is that in our future, mobile market research will be front and center of the market research industry. We will laugh at how ridiculously we were last year, this year, and there'll be many major extinctions. Those of you in the room are the pioneers. You are the people shaping the future. And one of the witnesses will talk about the technology disruption, the technology revolution. But I will let them explain that. Firstly, I'm going to share with you how the voting will work. Here's the question. We're going retro with this. On each table, there's a number of devices. Please pick one. Should be clear. It's 1 for yes, 2 for no. I'll give you 15 seconds to answer, and then we'll see how you do. Okay, pretty clear. Now let's see how we get on with the question that we have later. Now, I would like to invite the prosecution attorney. Please join me in welcoming the esteemed QC from Lumi, Lord Robbie Vigors.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I've been in the technology industry for 10 years, market research, but a few. It's clear to me that this industry is being disrupted, and we don't even realize it. And that disruption is happening today in this room, and indeed in other rooms around the world. Order! Sorry, Your Honor.
It is not the time for your opening statement.
I apologize.
Your silence. I would now invite the defense attorney. This brave person has decided to defend the market research profession against these accusations. Members of the jury, I'm afraid there's a change to the program. The defense attorney has cried off. He believes the case is undefendable. Therefore, as well as presiding over this, I will also assume the role of defense. But do not allow me to lead you. I will make it clear when I'm speaking as the judge and when I'm speaking as the defense.
I'll also change my voice to make it really obvious.
Mr. Vigors, your opening statement.
Your Honor, esteemed members of the jury, people of the market research universe, we help businesses make better decisions. Every day we make decisions that change lives, that improve lives, and indeed transform countries. We advise politicians, we stop wars, we guide millions of people on their journeys. There does seem to be a move from report to insight, but we need to move further still to impact.
Vigors, we don't have all day. Can you call your first witness?
Your Honor, to prove my case that market research does indeed need reinvention, I've put together an incredible...
Can you call your first witness?
An incredible set of witnesses. I'll let them tell their own stories. And it's for you, the jury, to decide the outcome of this trial. So,
Mr. Vigors, will you call your first witness?
without further ado, I'd like to welcome Pradeep from Unilever to the stage.
Why have you called Pradeep?
I think Pradeep is known to many of us and can offer us some interesting insights into what I've put forward today. Pradeep, please speak.
Yeah, I think this is about, the topic is about whether we should reinvent market research. I think it's more drastic than reinvention. I think I would probably word it as reinvent ourselves or perish. Because this is an industry, when I reflect, this is an industry which is under siege. The market research industry is under siege. Why do I say that? There have been few industries which have been attacked by people outside the industry who have taken control. And one was, all of us know about the photography industry, where Kodak dominated, and the whole thing of digital, the way it's taken over, made the entire industry of printing so much more, so small and so irrelevant in the whole context of today's number of photos taken in digital and shared on Facebook and other social media sites. So I think market research industry is facing that kind of a challenge. If you look at what's happening in the last 2 years, and many of you are part of it and witnessed to it in terms of the various services being offered in market research, which are people who had no idea or even don't have any idea about market research. They have technology, and they can do things which we always in market research wanted to do but never had the technology. But we know how to do market research in terms of talking to consumer, how do we analyze the information and come up with conclusions. The question to my mind is, what's happening here? This is an industry which is now getting increasingly fragmented in terms of the benefits that people are looking for. And to me, there are two clear segments that are emerging. One I would call as segment one, which is basically in the area of performance management. This is about, give me a few KPIs, give it to me fast, give it to me wide. So if I can contact, somebody came and spoke to me the other day, said that, I said, how many people can you contact within a day? And the person throws a number like 3.5 billion. That's a number I've never had in market research all the years I've been, because we have talked of sample size of 100,000, 2,000 kind of thing. So, oh goodness, it looks like you are sampling the universe. So the whole dimension is so different, and you can get it in a day or two. So few KPIs, can you measure what's happening, give me a dipstick, worldwide kind of thing is one area, that's segment one. Then the segment two is what I would call as the immersion deep dives, where I want depth, I want insights, I want a lot more knowledge about how things are working, what's happening, what are the cause-effect relationships, etc. And that, of course, traditionally we have used qualitative, you used deep dives in quantitative research as well. But there's more to it. And I was always, this is a presentation which Infosys did a few years ago when they presented to Unilever, and one of their slides said something like, what we are bringing today to you is 1 billion conversations summarized in a few charts. And to me, that was mind-blowing, because we talk of content analysis of focus groups of 8, 10 focus groups. If you're talking of harnessing the power of 1 billion conversations on the internet and bringing it to you in a few slides of what the essence of that conversation is, I mean, to me, that's deep dive of a different order. So in both these segments, I think we have to think completely radically, and we need to collaborate, work with very different partners who probably don't understand our language and probably couldn't. In fact, we are working with partners who don't know how to write a questionnaire. They know technology, but they don't know how to write a questionnaire. So this collaboration becomes so important. So it's not, for me, reinvention is a very mild form of saying. It's about reincarnation. If we don't reincarnate ourselves, we'll probably perish. That's my position.
Mr. Vigas, any further questions?
Pradeep, perhaps you could give us an example of your worst case experience of market research.
Worst case as in?
It being unhelpful.
In traditional market research or in the new world?
Either, I guess.
Yeah, I remember one case where we were doing a particular product test, and we cleared something based on certain analysis which we had done, and then the market results when came through was pretty bad. When the brand started deep diving in the southwards. And then when you look at what you had done, how the little things which you thought are probably something you can ignore actually made the difference. So it told us one thing, that connecting the dots, even though the dots may be small, can give you a bigger picture. It's not about how big the dot is. It may not stand out. But when you look at 3-4 pieces of evidence in a piece of research and connect it, you get a bigger picture. And that's the thing I learned.
Thank you. No further questions?
You just described collaboration and working with people that know nothing about research. Is that possible, practical, realistic?
If you want to be in this industry, you better reset your mindset and whom you want to partner with if you want to be, or else you have other things to do in life. That's great.
No further questions for this witness? Pradeep, can you remain with us for a short while? Good. Mr. Vigors, call your second witness.
My second witness is Ian St. Maurice from McKinsey. Please come to the stage.
My name is Ian St. Maurice from McKinsey & Company.
Lord Vigors.
Please give your statement.
I have a prepared statement. My friend Pradeep here said a mistake led to one brand going downhill. Ideal in billions of dollars. So I have written pages and presentations where we make recommendations of investments of $2, $3, $4, $5, $20 billion in certain situations. What does that mean? Quality really matters. I presented a few years ago at Esomar in China, and we were having a discussion around the representativeness of online panels, and people said, well, look, we can't be representative. I said, look, if I'm betting a few $1 billion, please don't tell me that representative doesn't matter. When market research people tell me this, I get infuriated. Time is money, too. In China, when 1 or 2 months, a player who's late 1 or 2 months may miss the boat, so I need things fast. So based on all this, what do I need from the market research agencies and market research industry that I'm not getting today? If I ask for a 1-page response to an RFP, I don't want a 15 megabyte email with like lots of pictures. I need something simple that I can digest. Make your communication crisp. The market research communication today is far from being crisp, except the wonderful presentation from Skim, which I really enjoyed, by the way. But anyway, that's an aside. I want my market research partners to care as much about quality as I do, and I fear sometimes they do not. But more importantly, and related to the topic of mobile market research, I need them to always be looking forward for what is the better answer that can give me something that is faster, quicker, ideally cheaper, though I'm actually willing to budge on that. I don't mind about it being cheaper or not. And I think, on that respect, I think I would like to see the market research industry reinvent itself, particularly in terms of the adoption of mobile. And I've actually got some, I'll submit this as Exhibit A, which I unfortunately didn't have, but we, McKinsey, did some work to validate what was the quality of mobile panels in China and Korea, comparing them and contrasting them to online panels and also offline. And what we found was they are better. They avoid a lot of the issues of fraudulence that you see in online. Anybody here who's done online research in China will know that fraudulence is a monumental headache. you get better quality of data, better representation, better scale usage. We have 12 dimensions along which we actually found that mobile research was better. So I'm always shocked when I speak to agencies and they're stuck in the past, they're not willing to look at these new techniques, or they're not doing these kind of why should McKinsey be doing these validation studies? Why aren't you guys doing them? So I think there's many areas where I'm very disappointed with the performance of the market research industry, and I don't know whether it's reinvention, but I think you guys need a swift kick in the butt. And I'm sorry to be so provocative, but I guess that's my job. I mean, look at the way he's dressed, so. That's the end of my prepared statement.
Thank you, Ian. No further questions from me.
Defend that.
Where's the voice?
Okay, then. No further questions. Mr. Vigers, will you call your next witness?
Thank you, Ian. My third witness is Nick Hall from TNS. Nick, please do come to the stage.
Hi, everybody. You can see I've also got a prepared statement, but unlike the one on an iPad, mine is still the old-fashioned style. I started in market research a very long time ago, and I've seen the original days, you know, when everybody wanted accuracy and 5 callbacks before you gave up an interview. Now it's quite happy, you know, if it's 80 or 90% right, that's okay. It doesn't really matter if it's not 100% accurate. So a little bit different to what you were just saying. I've also seen the time when, as a research employee, we used to spend the first 6 months of our life interviewing and actually in field and speaking to real people, and then working for 6 months in DP and processing the data ourselves and really understanding it. And so, you know, where we're going now from what I saw originally as questionnaires, which were very, very difficult to set up. They consisted of a piece of paper with holes in them that the interviewer had to mark with a pencil through the holes, and then a machine used to read the pencil marks. And to change a question was a monumental task that was incredibly difficult to do. So what mobile has done, and you know, it's kind of moved on from online, is it's allowed us to move away from some of these maybe more old-fashioned technologies. But I think if I go back to my experience over the years, 2 big things haven't changed, and they should not change, in my opinion. And the first one of those is garbage in, garbage out. It doesn't matter how good the technology is, if you have no understanding of your client's business objectives, or if you've got a really badly designed questionnaire, or for example, if you do poor data analysis or poor presentation, you can have the fanciest data collection equipment in the world, but garbage in, garbage out still remains absolutely true. The other thing that remains absolutely true, and it's why probably most of us are in the market research industry, is intellectual curiosity. The reason that most of us do this job is because we're intellectually curious kind of people. We're interested in the world around us. One of the things that I think we're letting go is this ability to be intellectually curious. By delegating responsibility to Facebook or to mobile or to passive collection, we actually did a really interesting thing the other day. We called in real panel respondents, online panel respondents, into our office. And we had a kind of panel discussion with them. It was the first time many employees in our company had met a real respondent. And that said a lot to me, because this is where I see a big danger of where we're going. Let's not forget our intellectual curiosity. If we lose that, the industry is definitely dead. So that's my point of view.
Vigers?
So I think it's fair to say speaking for change, but retaining some core values. No further questions from me.
TNS is very traditional. Why are you speaking for him?
I wasn't really. I was speaking more for the defense.
Thank you. You want to call some more relevant witnesses?
Yes, yeah. That one slipped through the net, Your Honour. My next witness is Mayor Madhusandhan. Please, from Hall & Partners, please come to the stage.
Thank you, Your Honour, and thank you. Well, I'm just going to keep this really short and crisp, and touching upon a lot of the points that were made here already. I just hate telling people I work in market research. I hate it, because when I do, the kind of usual response I get, and I'm sure you've heard it too, is, wait, do you do data collection? What do you market? Is that related to finance? Or are you filling up questionnaires? My 8-year-old nephew still thinks I go door to door doing a 2-minute Harvard challenge. Well, there's nothing wrong in that. It's quite fundamental to what we do, and it's quite important to what we do. But I think the very term, the linguistics of market research, has just been so detrimental to the complex industry that we live in and the nuances that exist. It just boxes it into processes and just limits it to data collection, when what we actually have is a lot of talent among the professionals to join the dots, to be insightful, to be intellectually curious. None of that is captured in the very term market research, and I guess that's one of the reasons why I hate introducing myself as a market research professional. I'm constantly looking for different ways of describing the industry I work in. Consumer insights, data mining, data collection, brand optimization. Well, none of that really summarizes the complexity of what we do, and I guess a lot of us are also to blame, and I agree with a lot of the evidences that have been provided here today, that we need to be quite agile and smart and quick in adapting to the various changes in technology around us. Consumers are changing, but we're not changing as fast as they are. We need to adopt technology, which we've been hearing about throughout the day, in the ways we collect data through mobile, or be it using neurosciences, behavioral sciences. We need to be quite smart about the way we immerse ourselves with the client issues and ambitions, and I think that's something that Pradeep here touched upon. It's quite important, and Ian, you mentioned that too, that you want more quality, and that'll only happen if we want to, and if we allow ourselves to immerse into client issues and ambitions, and the clients accept that. And I think the third key issue is just the dual face of methodologies, qual and quant. I'll admit I'm guilty of that myself, being a qual researcher, but I think we need to be thinking of solutions, not just methodologies, when we talk to clients about finding answers. And the fourth thing is really being able to engage clients and our audiences in very visual storytelling rather than death by PowerPoint. And no offense to any of them here who presented using slides. We are slaves to slides sometimes, but actually what we need to be presenting is a story and ideas and insights. And it's quite simple, really. That's it. All I'm hoping for is a better shorthand for the industry that we work in, and I hope we can rebrand ourselves soon.
Thank you, Mayor. No further questions from me, Your Honour.
You want a shorthand for market research, and you're saying this at the Market Research in the Mobile World Conference.
Yes.
So you're happy to stand on stage and be a market researcher when it suits you?
Well, I might be smiling, I might be happy, but it actually worries me that, I mean, I think like a lot of people mentioned here, the future of this industry, and as Baby Pradeep rightly said, you either adapt or you perish. So, I mean, we have to face this, whether we like it or not.
Do you have any more witnesses, Vigers?
A few. My next witness is from TNS, and I hope is going to be speaking for the motion. Karthik, please do join us on the stage.
To be honest, I mean, besides what we've heard from everyone here, the fact is change is coming, we want it or not. As an abstract of it, I think last year or so, WPP renamed the whole research and consultancy division to be called Data Investment Management. I mean, that itself says what direction things are moving, and that's essentially coming from a few points. The fact is, our competition is changing. So you got Google, Facebook, IBM, I don't know, whoever, everyone's in this business now. So it's not the traditional research business anymore. So the guys we are competing with are completely different. And that itself is a big indication of the change. Then we've heard a few designations thrown around today in this room itself. There were people who were called data scientists. I think Germany, I think there was some talk about privacy. TNS Germany, for example, has a data privacy officer. So maybe something like that. You got a lot of us who are now designated experts of various things. We all used to be generalists. So again, the whole area of talent, structures, people, etc., is again changing, and that again is happening across. And when we look at some of the topics nowadays we talk about neuroscience, we're talking about behavioral changes, we're talking about heuristics, we're talking about cross-media. Some of these things didn't exist, say, even 2-3 years back. We were not talking about any of these. That again says, change is coming. And lastly, since we're in a mobile conference, the skills we need to look at these mobile stuff. I'm not really a technology person, but now I have to kind of figure out how a mobile thing is scripted, or what is a conformant, what is a NIPO, various other things. So again, the whole skill sets, which a lot of us have been brought up in a very traditional pen and paper kind of an environment, again, all of us completely need to relearn that, be it understand, going back to even basics, writing code, or understanding how a script is made, or what an error can be. So my submission, change is already here, so we better get on board and we reinvent ourselves. Otherwise, we're going to get left behind.
None from me.
Okay, I'd like to call forth my penultimate witness, Neil Gaines from Tapestry. Please come to the stage.
Hello.
Please proceed.
Okay. What I'd like to share with the court is what I think is perhaps the biggest problem facing market research, which is that it's not taken seriously by those who make decisions in business. And I think there are a few issues relating to that in terms of the ability of most market researchers to integrate information, to focus on business outcomes, and to simplify the complexity of the data and the behavior that we try to understand. May I share some exhibits with the court?
Be quick.
That'd be fun. So this is a chart of what CEOs say about market research. And to be honest, they're pretty contemptuous of the usefulness of the information in terms of the decisions they make, rating it well below other departments like finance, marketing, etc. Now, not only are they contemptuous, but it seems that market research itself doesn't appreciate that problem. So the people working within research have a very different opinion of how useful they are from the people who use that information. They don't think that we understand business issues, that we answer so what, or that we make recommendations that are clear. And I don't think this problem has improved or changed in recent memory. And I'll give one anecdotal example of the training that I do in report writing here in Singapore, which I've been running for 4 or 5 years now. One thing has remained the same in all those years. I run the training with a mixture of clients and research providers, I should say. The clients always say, something like this about research reports. Yeah? But one thing has changed that I've seen, which is that the number of clients attending that training is increasing. The number of research agencies attending is decreasing. The clients, I think, are taking the problem into their own hands and starting to internalize a lot of what market researchers should be doing. So, in summary, I think what we really need to do is to connect the dots, as one of the previous witnesses mentioned. I think we need to be far more focused on making business impact, which I think we saw particularly with maybe the Singtel presentation this morning. And above all, I think making things clear and simple and focused, as another witness mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. No further questions from me, Your Honour.
You showed some slide with some CEOs. I guess you just made that data up?
I did not make that data up. I believe it was a quote from Esomar, in fact.
Thank you.
Thank you, Neil.
You have one more witness?
My final witness, Your Honour, is Christoph from the Zappi store. Christoph, do come to the stage.
I think many of the great things we've heard from all these very, very intelligent and far more intelligent than me people on stage connects to a more overarching problem, and that's, in my opinion, that market research has a disconnect of the world of modern business today. It's like in a relationship, it's a failing relationship they currently have. And Maya was talking about a story, that a story tells more than a slide. So I'm going to use that analogy of a relationship to voice the 3 pain points I've witnessed that market research currently has with the world of modern business. Relation pain point number 1. Market research has commitment issues. It fails to live up to the current fast pace and dynamic environment in which all businesses are currently operating. And what was mentioned is that a consumer acts quicker, choices are made much faster, and businesses are trying to mirror that. Then why is market research, like the man in the mirror, always getting cold feet when anybody is talking about agility and wanting things quicker? It's not resonating anymore longer term. Business wants insight quicker. Relation pain point number 2. Market research stays in touch with its X. So for being a tool that is used to fuel innovation for so many of its clients, why is market research so averse to change? And why does it cling to old methodologies and old techniques, which are really from an era gone by? So, and the examples are still there. Agencies still employ worker bees, researchers that need to go through tables and look for patterns and make charts and make tables and make charts. PowerPoints, as was said here. Slide addicts, if we want. And to me, that feels very alien and very awkward. If we live in a world of automation, digitalization, why is that still there? Is that not a little bit a relic of the past? If we think about tabulation data and number crunching, shouldn't that be the world of IT? Shouldn't research be refocusing on its core competencies, methodology design, analysis? So market research should ask Excel the question, do away with old expectations it's taken over from a previous relationship and focus on its current relationship with modern business. Then that brings me to the most controversial relation pain point number 3. It is said that market research is a boring, uncreative, unadventurous lover. Not my quote, but it has been said. Data sources are proliferating. And a moment of reflection, if we link that to what was said earlier, is necessary. Where do we see market research in 10 years? I know that on the slides there was 2030, we see X, Y, Z. Where is market research in there? Pradeep mentioned, I need to deal with companies that are not market research companies. Well, why isn't the room reacting? Is that okay? Are you okay with that? Because that means in 30 years when Pradeep comes back to a conference, you're all gone and it's all other people in the room. So we need to ask ourselves, if traditional market research still wants to be there, it cannot look away. It needs to do something about it. So that's why I would urge market research to spice things up a little bit. Be a bit more creative to keep the world of modern business keen and interested. Maybe use a little bit of technology, who knows? So if we come back, yes, I consider market research boring, out of date. Do I consider that it has a future? Yes. And yesterday was a brilliant man who voiced it in 4 words. He says, if I look at the future of market research, I think it's going to be a technology revolution and a consultancy evolution. So that's where I'll leave it. Thank you.
Mr. Vigers, I know that you have countless additional witnesses. You also have a number of additional exhibits. Allow me to, if I may, summarize some of them. You could, of course, bring out a clipboard, examples of focus groups, scientific papers about recall and in the moment and so on. We've heard some of that today already. We've heard some of it from this group. Because of your poor time management, we can't allow questions from the jury to the panel, but of course you can question them at your convenience and leisure later. Do you wish to make any closing statement?
A brief one, Your Honour. I really shouldn't have to say more. It seems clear from the evidence given today that market research needs to change to survive. You can read as many reports as you like, but good market research is not about reports and presentations. It's about getting up close and personal to the customer. It's about seeing the whites in their eyes, feeling their passion and enthusiasm as they talk about, consume, or buy something. I once had a boss that said, if you want to learn about rugby, you can read a book about it. But if you want to really understand rugby, you should go and watch the All Blacks play. Please, watch this video and remember what I said about seeing the whites of their eyes. The passion, the enthusiasm is the same from consumers as it is for rugby players.
The haka is always treated with the greatest of respect in France.
Question for the jury. You know how to vote. There's 2 options. 1 and 2. I declare this case closed. In all seriousness, for a moment, I think it's great that we're having the debate. I think that you've all done a great job, perhaps opening our eyes and giving us the challenge that we need to respond. There is a technology revolution, a consultancy evolution, and it's a massive challenge. I genuinely believe that a lot of the people in this room are the pioneers in that process, and I hope that we are all here in 30 years' time when Pradeep comes back and issues another challenge to us, that we'll still be in the room. So thank you for being pioneers. Let's keep the debate going. If you have questions or challenges to Robbie, he will be wearing this outfit at the Research Club this evening, so you'll be able to find him easily. And of course, please ask questions of any of the speakers. They're all massive experts and they would love to continue the conversation, and please join me in thanking them.
I mean, Dan just said in 30 years' time when we come back, I think in that statement itself, we are still in a traditional mindset. It won't take 30 years, it'll be 3. So change will be that fast, and the ground is moving under our feet very fast. If you don't recognize, you'll slip.